From our home and native land, Toronto's newest pulp culture podcast, covering your favorite comics, collectibles, media, nerderific origin stories, and more. Hosted by your northern neighbor, Jowy Pangolinin. Here it is, nerdos and nerdettes, Comic Sync!
This is Joey from Comic Sync, and I'm here with the crew.
Lenny.
Shane.
Geoff.
And that's probably as much crew members that we've had in a very, very long time, so welcome back to everybody here today. And we are talking about Doomsday Clock, the kind of long-awaited, and then we got sick and tired of waiting, and then we waited some more, and then it finally came out. So at this point, we are around the beginning of August, and we are at issue 6 of 12. So some of us here, Shane, I'm still reading a little bit of it right now, but we want to talk about news a little. Shane, you had a little bit of news for us, right?
Well, it's one of the bits of breaking news today, but it has officially been announced that the villain for the new Birds of Prey movie is going to be Black Mask, who's traditionally a Batman villain, but considering this is probably going to take place in Gotham, it seems like a natural course for him. But it's because of how big of a Batman villain he is and how violent he is, it's an interesting choice for this film. But if they are going to do this as an R-rated film, it makes a lot of sense. So.
Right. How do you guys feel about that?
I would like to see it then get revealed that Black Mask is actually Joker. Like the game.
That's what you want?
Yeah.
Give Geoff what
Let's
he
go
wants,
with that
guys.
one, yeah, honestly, or else, please.
And Geoff, you did have news about James Gunn as well, right?
Yeah, I guess the next chapter in the ongoing James Gunn saga. All the
That's a movie now too, eh?
pretty much, yeah.
That he can't write.
And James Franco is going to make a, biography about it. It's going to be sick.
Yeah, so Geoff, it was the Guardians, I think?
Yeah, I know. So all the Guardians basically just signed the thing. They're all kind of, backing him. As well as Dave Bautista of Evolution fame has decided to, yes, that's great.
It's a mystery.
No, but he also said that if they don't go with James Gunn's script, that he won't be Drax.
We could just dress someone else up as Drax. You could be Drax. Come on,
they could go with the classic Drax, but he's nowhere near as cool as the Batista sort of Drax that we've seen in comics in the last decade. So
I haven't watched Volume 2. Did he powerbomb anyone yet?
Batista bomb.
Batista bomb? Oh, it's called a Batista bomb.
It's called
now?
the Batista bomb.
Okay,
well,
I haven't been in.
His finisher is the Batista bomb.
And did he do it in the movie?
No, but now I want to see it happen.
And Len, you had news about Diane Guerrero.
Yeah, Diane Guerrero from Orange is the New Black will be playing as Crazy Jane in the new Doom Patrol series. It's going to be 64 different personalities. Mm-hmm. All different powers. It's going to be awesome.
That's going to be crazy. And you know what? If she's come out of prison this way... Well, she hasn't really come out of prison yet, but she's been in, season 1 to 3 of Orange is the New Black, so she knows how to play the crazies, and I think that could happen.
I like crazy.
Yeah, crazy's fine. And of course, now we're going to talk about Doomsday Clock. We have lots of feelings, lots of them mixed. The first thing that we did want to talk about was, what the hell is the Doomsday Clock, guys?
Watchmen sequel and a DC crossover combined, conceptualizing the themes of Watchmen's themes of the fear of the bomb in the 80s in the form of today's disinformation age.
Yeah, oh my gosh, are we ever. Now in its 6th issue, and are we feeling a little bit like this actually is Alan Moore's Watchmen? Or is it kind of like totally straying away from that? Does it read like the Watchmen at all?
It reads more like the Watchmen than any previous attempts of bringing back the Watchmen has.
Are you talking about the, what was it, the one with like Silk Spectre had her own book?
Yeah,
Beyond
when they all
Watchmen?
had those like mini-series.
Yeah, before Watchmen.
Before Watchmen, or after Watchmen, I think it was called.
No, it was before Watchmen. I have them. It was before Watchmen.
This is after Watchmen.
This was hot garbage.
Yeah.
But Darwin Cook drew one of them.
Yes, and Darwin Cook did amazing stuff.
And that was it.
Yeah. And so this is supposed to be like really, really like the biggest event to happen in DC in quite a long time. Now,
unlike the infinite stories that they do, or should I say crisis stories that they do every 5 to 6 years.
Crisis and multiple anythings with DC.
I did like the multiversity, though. Like, that map still keeps coming up. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I like it.
So, I mean, that being said, this is apparently supposed to be the next thing to happen after Rebirth, and then Oz Effect, which is Action Comics, and The Button, which we did a review on some time ago, Len. And then obviously, but it's also, it's a little bit confusing if you kind of haven't been reading the new stuff too, because it ends where the 1987 Alan Moore's Watchmen storyline also ends, which I don't know if you guys recall any of that. I mean, there was already a movie in it.
Yeah, it seems to take place, I wouldn't, maybe 3 months post the end of the original Watchmen, where Adrian has had some time to see that his plan has gone to shit, and just everything that he laid out, it was for naught, because the world was still on the brink of nuclear war, and as we came to see in issue 1, pretty much went to nuclear war as they were leaving. But it seems to be just a seamless continuation of the original Watchmen, unlike the before Watchmen, which they had to try and shoehorn in there.
Yeah. Sorry, Geoff, you did say that you had that Beyond Watchmen books, right?
For Watchmen, yeah. They came in nice hardcovers. I don't like them at all. They were pointless. They didn't really add to anything. It was unnecessary.
So was it really just backstories?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And then now we wanted to recap a little bit of what has been going on with Doomsday Clock. And one of the biggest things that happened was that the comedian fell basically through the DC timeline, along with the other characters.
So did he fall, or was he teleported by Dr. Manhattan?
I think Dr. Manhattan gave him a second chance at life.
Yeah.
That's really what it looked like.
What it felt like to me is that we see a continuation of his memory, but he could have gone splat and then wasn't alive for an amount of time, and then he inserts his memory back
Jason
into a new
Todd,
thing.
He got better.
He got Jason Todded.
Yeah.
Totted?
Yeah, he got Todded.
Right, because they had the scene of him remembering going head first into the car off of the skyscraper, but then all of a sudden he gets transported into water, and he lands in water. Mm-hmm.
And then the WTF, where the hell am I?
Yeah, so clearly someone messed with the timeline and the universe, which is what Dr. Manhattan's been established to be able to do. My
answer is usually it's the Flash.
But now it's the Manhattan.
It's the Manhattan.
Well, before, as of Infinite Crisis and all that, it was Superboy Prime punched the time wall.
Right.
That was my joke.
Right.
Yep. But it seems like we get a new version of that every few years from DC.
That's right. And then we also have this huge epic thing that happened that you just didn't think that would happen in comics, which was Rorschach meeting Batman. Right? Do you guys remember that?
I love what was the first thing that Batman said to him is Batman voice, you ate my breakfast. Yeah, I did.
And he comes back with a really weird, well, yes, I did.
With, he has this broken kind of, he talks like he Texas.
Yes. Well, it's because, when they go into his backstory, Reggie, as we come to kind of find out that his name is, he kind of had a very messed up upbringing. It looked like his dad was a very learned psychologist and was trying to get his works published, and he was struggling with that. And he was an only child. Well, Reggie was an only child and kept to himself a lot and didn't really fight back until the Doomsday event, no pun intended, in the Watchmen, which wiped out 3 million people in New York City, including his parents. And it seemed that the people that were left behind were broken mentally. We don't know why, we don't know how, but so there might have been some residual effects with the portal that messed him up. So we see what happens with him ending up in a psychological institute and meeting the Moth.
Yeah.
I didn't quite read that as it was the residual effects of the bomb, but just more like you just saw an entire city just die and this alien eye looking into you. I don't think that any power is needed to make you go crazy. Seeing one person die is enough to make you go crazy. That's just...
There is that true. I mean, I don't know. I took it as that there's some effects to it. Considering it was an intergalactic monster, creature, alien that was brought to Earth, we don't know what kind of effects it had on people.
They manufactured that. In Watchmen, didn't they? It was like a bunch of artists and scientists who were like put this thing together. It didn't actually live, and then they teleported it.
Well, yeah, but it's still like a giant squid monster, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty horrifying.
It didn't have any cosmic elements, as far as I knew.
Right, and that's what they weren't too clear about, because there's a lot of like clever nods to the original Watchmen in the news reports and in the book, but they were saying something to the effect of the remnants of the monster was taken away from Adrian Veidt Industries by the U.S. government because they're trying to re-examine all of the effects that it had on people. And it's like, well, did that even really happen?
Also, there's disinformation on that side of the universe too, I guess.
Everywhere.
Fake news.
And Rorschach. This is not the Rorschach this is not your grandpappy's Rorschach, I should say. But we did find out that he wasn't who we knew he was. Geoff, you wanted to speak about that one?
About Reggie?
Yeah.
About Reggie.
Like, who's this Reggie?
Yeah, so it's Reggie Long, right? I believe it's the son of Rorschach's psychiatrist in the original, Malcolm Long. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I think that's what that was.
And we find out that reveal, I believe, in issue 1, because Marionette was like, what? Who are you? Like...
Yeah, she knows he's not the original Rorschach, because he speaks like him, but not quite like him. There's something off. And then when he's like, I'm not that guy, just prove it. Yeah. So
he removes his glove.
Yeah. And that's where we see gasp.
Hand glove, guys.
He's a black guy.
Yeah.
You can't be a different color than me. Someone with like white makeup on.
Super white makeup on, yeah. And of course, going into that, like basically what happened in the first issue was Rorschach breaking into the prison so that he could break out Eminem, as we're going to call it in this podcast, which is Marionette, and her boy toy, which is Mime. And of course, Rorschach goes to Marionette first, and pretty much says like, "Hey, you want your kid to help me?" And she was like, "Nah, but I want my boy too." And then they got to go and break out the other guy too. So that's pretty much what happened in issue 2. But what do you guys think of this Mime and Marionette duo?
I love Mime. He's so damn brutal, and you don't know that's. You think that he's making it up, that he's holding a gun and has a belt and stuff. At first, you think he's crazy.
So many issues later, when we see just how violent they can be.
Boom, headshot. Love it.
Yeah. I guess for characters that were created for the purpose of the story, they are a pretty cool, I guess, Watchmen universe version of the Joker.
Right.
That is oddly compelling because of their backstories, which you learn about later on. But, they're really cool, sort of deranged. If they ever made a movie, they could probably be as popular as Harley Quinn, just because they are sympathetic figures, but also just completely insane.
Yeah. And Geoff, what did you think of them?
I liked them.
Yeah.
I mean, just the whole scene where they're like gouging people's eyes out and ripping someone's head off.
Yeah. And what did Marionette do to this dude's finger?
During the bank robbery.
Yeah, the bank robbery.
Because they're trying to tell everyone, if you don't do anything crazy, no one's going to get hurt. And then you had the bank manager was mouthing off to his employee about, oh, you're going to be fired and you're a dumb so-and-so because you told him that I can open the safe. And then she kind of does like a flip, and she cuts his finger off with her invisible wire. Like I was discussing earlier on, I don't know where this wire is kept.
Yeah.
But she seems to be very prone to decapitating and slicing body parts off people that get a bit too lippy.
Yeah, man, you can't get that stuff in Home Depot. Like, that is, some magic.
That's like the razor wire in Ghost Ship.
That's it, man.
Oh,
yeah.
That's a good scene.
One of the greatest scenes in horror movie history.
And now another thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about too was with Mime and Marionette, their storyline was they're trying to find their son. So apparently they have a son. And also at that bank robbery moment, the boy in